Okay, boys and girls, we are going to make a pumpkin picture today, and we're going to use some paint, and we're going to be mixing up some colors that we learned about last week. So I'm going to start with my white piece of paper with my pumpkin drawing on it, and I'm going to make sure I put my name on the back with a pencil to start. It's very important that I put my name on the back and not the front, because we're going to paint the whole front today. So I'm going to start with this white piece of paper just like this, and I have my paint tray at my table. I have only red, yellow, and blue. We learned how to mix up orange, green, and purple last week, and brown, so we're going to use just these primary colors today to mix up those other three colors for our pumpkin. Now I'm also having a little placemat on my table. This is a little piece of newspaper. This is just going to protect my table so I don't get paint all over my table today. Alright, so I have my pumpkin picture in my paint tray. Now I'm going to start here by taking my brush and painting one section of the pumpkin. So I'm going to dip in my red, and I'm going to go on the black lines with the very tippy top of my brush, and I'm just going to paint this one little section of the pumpkin on the black lines, and I'm going to stop. Now after I painted this little section of the pumpkin, I'm going to wash all that red away. No more red on my brush. Dip in my water and then scrub all the red away from on my wet rag. No more red on my brush, looks good. Dip in my yellow, and now we know that red and yellow mix to make orange. We learned that last time. So I'm gonna paint the inside yellow, and then I'm gonna touch the red sides that I just painted. So as I touch the red sides a little bit and I go on the inside, it's gonna make a little bit of orange in the middle there. So I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit, not a lot. I kind of like how it's just a little bit of yellow and orange and red in the pumpkin still. So I'm gonna keep some of that yellow in there. All right, wash my brush off. Get all that yellow away, no more yellow. Make sure I wipe the sides off too. Okay, looks good. Now I'm gonna dip back in my red and paint this next section of the pumpkin on the black lines. All right, wash my red away, no more red. Dip in my water, scrub my brush on the wet rag. Now dip in my yellow and paint the inside. Mix it together with the red to make that orange. Okay, looks good. And I'm gonna keep doing this for each of the sections of the pumpkin. This pumpkin has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections of the pumpkin. So after I painted all the sections of the pumpkin, I need to paint my stem brown, my background, that's the space around the pumpkin, purple, and some green vines. So to mix up those colors today, we have a little plate at our table. It's a paper plate, and we're going to use this as a mixing plate to mix up some colors. So if I want to mix up a brown to paint that stem, remember brown is red, yellow, and blue. 3 colors. So I'm going to put a little dot of red, wash my brush off, little dot of blue, wash my brush off, and a little bit of yellow. And I'm going to mix those together to make my brown. Now if my brown doesn't look quite right, I might need to put a couple different colors in there. Try more yellow, try more red. But if I think it looks good, I'm going to take that brown and paint on my stem. All right, just a little spot of brown there. Now wash all that brown away on my brush. I'm done with brown. Now I'm going to mix up a purple for the background space. So purple, remember, is blue plus red. So I'm going to mix up that blue and that red together to make a nice purple, and when it looks right, I'm going to paint around the pumpkin now, all the space, the white space around the pumpkin. This is why we have our placemat today, so we don't get any of this purple on our table. And I'm going to keep going back and forth until I painted all this space. Now if my paint is running out a little bit, I need to dip back in my purple. But what if I run out of purple on here? I think I need to get a little bit more blue and red and mix them together to make another pile of purple here, and keep going with my paint. Okay, keep going with my purple around the bottom of the pumpkin over here. All right, now when I get to the top, I'm going to stop because I need to paint some green vines. So I'm going to wash all that purple away. And remember how to make green. Blue plus yellow. So a little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow, mix together to get a green. I think I need a little bit more yellow in there. It's not looking very green. Looking too blue, so a little bit more yellow. Okay, and I'm gonna paint some curly vines by using the tippy top of my brush and curl around and paint some vines. Okay, after that, I'm gonna go back to my purple here and finish the space around the vines. Okay, if I've finished, my pumpkin should look kind of like this. All the sections are painted, my vines, my stem, and my background are painted. So that's what we're gonna work on today. Now, if you finish a little bit early, you can grab a worksheet from the shopping cart that looks like this, and you can experiment with making some new colors today, and you can use your mixing plate to mix up some new colors and paint in the boxes of your worksheet here, kind of like a color experiment. So see how many colors you can create on your paper if you finish early.